Hey everybody, Designs by Marge here, and we're going to actually work with the Noble Peacock suite. Sorry. This is the stamp set that we'll be using, and this comes from, as we talked about in the last video, this comes from the Noble Peacock suite. And if you can see it, there are a lot of options in the suite. You get the stamp set, the dies, an embossing folder, the designer series paper, the foil that comes in blueberry bushel, old olive, and pretty peacock. You get a reversible ribbon that comes one side is old olive, the other side is pretty peacock, and then you get the matching embellishments to go with it, the rhinestones. So you get that whole set. There's a close-up of what the paper looks like and the stamp set. Okay, it's a great deal on these. I mean, you one number and you've got everything that you need in order to make the card. So the supplies for this card are going to be the pretty peacock cardstock that's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. You're going to be using the old olive foil, which is absolutely, I love the color of that. And along with the foil, which, I'm sorry, I forgot, we're also doing a piece of Whisper White under that, just to kind of show it off a little bit more. So the Whisper White piece is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then the foil is 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and then on the foil, we're going to be using the Tough Dynamic embossing folder. I love this. It gives it that nice royal quilted look that I just love. We're going to be using a 5 1/4 by 4 inch Whisper White on the inside. Then we're going to be using a piece of pretty peacock cardstock that is 4 1/4 inches by 1 inch. A piece of Whisper White that is 4 1/4 by 3/4 inch, just so that you've got a little bit of border on each side, going back to the card. Okay, then you're going to be using for the peacock, the pretty peacock foil, which is just gorgeous here. I'm in the camera. And we're going to be making the peacock out of that. And then we're going to be adding the rhinestones to it, as you can see here. And we're also going to be using the pretty peacock reversible ribbon that you can see is, I hope you can see, is old olive on one side and pretty peacock on the other. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is to prepare a base, of course, even though I said stamping first. And just, make that nice and crisp, and then set it aside. And then we'll do our stamping. Now, I have my piercing mat, and the reason that I have my piercing mat is because we're doing photopolymer. As you can see, they are photopolymer, which means that they are the clear plastic that you just stick on your block, okay? And so they need a little bit more cushion than your rubber stamps do. So that's why we're using those. So let's start by doing our little sentiment here. Okay, and we're using the congratulations on such an amazing accomplishment. We're doing that in Pretty Peacock. You want to make sure you get it covered, but you don't want to make a mess with it. Okay, you want it over to the left-hand side, And in the center, I hope I got that straight. Well, pretty much. Okay, and then I'll clean my stamp set again, so excuse me. So we're going to use our pretty pink, I'm sorry, our pretty peacock, and we're going to do the So Very Proud of You in the upper center of that as I get ink on me. And you know that little error that I made is okay because I'm just going to flip it on the other side. It's not going to show. So, and then we're going to do this again. And then up on this side. And then we can close that up. Set that aside, clean up. Okay, now we're going to work on our peacock and our other layer. So I'm getting out my Big Shot. I'm going to try to turn it sideways so that you can see that you put in there. And then this, and then this, and then it'll go through. Okay, so I'm going to take that out and I'm going to go ahead and set up my peacock. For the peacock, I'm using the magnetic platform. I'm using both of the plates. I'm going to set my peacock blue there, and I'm going to get my die out, which I should have already done. So while we're here though, I wanted to show you these detailed dies. They are very nice dies. We're going to use this big one if I can just get it out. Set it down in there. So, and I give, with the measurements I gave you plenty. So it's like 5 inches by 3 inches is all you need to do this one. And then I take my upper plate and place it in there and run it through. Now I run it back and forth because this is a detailed die. So you want to make sure that it cuts through. And it did. Okay, I'll put this aside and clean it up later. Alright, even though you probably don't need it, we can set this on here, run it through with our little brush. And I just picked up the foam at, I think it was at Michael's that I picked it up. But you can get it pretty cheap anywhere, and it makes getting these out wonderful. See how easy that was? So, and very intricate. So, and see, nothing's stuck in there either, so I could just put it back where it belongs. Okay. And then you've got all these cute little curly cues that you can save if you want, but nope. Okay. So now we have our pieces ready. We can start putting our card together. Oh, I need my ribbon. So we're going to make just a little ribbon for that reason. And you just pull it through. Like I said, I have to start with mine bigger than most people. You get it in the direction you want it to go in. then you cut it. We'll size it later. Whoop. Alright, so we'll put that aside. Put the ribbon back where it belongs, because if I don't... Okay, so now we take this out of our folder. See how gorgeous that is. It just turns out so pretty. So now we're going to take our card. You remember that we're going to mark it because we want people to know that we made it. So there's that. And I also know that this is the back of my card. Okay. Then we're going to put these two pieces together. Right. And because I think my So because this has been through the embossing folder, I want some extra stick to it. Okay, and we're going to stick it on here. Okay, and then we're going to take that. See how I messed it up? But see, that doesn't show, so yay for me. Then we're going to stick this on here. Just like that. Okay. And then we're going to put these two pieces together. So see how easy that's coming along? Now that I'm done mucking it up. And I want to butt that to the very end. Okay. And then we're going to put that on our card. And in the upper quarter of it. So I want this to definitely be against the crack there, against the fold, right? And you'll notice that it goes over just a little bit, so we just take our snips and trim that right up. And there it is. Okay. Now we're going to put our peacock on this side. So here's the lesson that I learned in making this card from the other one, is that you can actually use the mini glue dots, the mini dimensionals, and you can cut them in half, right? And put one, like maybe right there, so it doesn't show, and the other half of it, maybe up here, right? You don't need much for it to stick. And then you pull the tops off of them. Away, and you line this up so that he's kind of hanging over the sentiment like that. Okay, and then the last thing we have to do is position our ribbon. Now my ribbon is still a little bit too big to suit me, but to save time, you just kind of twist it around until you get it where you want it. Snip it the way you want it to be. put a little glue dot, a little small glue dot on the back, which I forgot to get out. And stick that on at the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to add our inside. Take them out of my snail. And there you go. And we have our card. There's the original and there's the new one. So this is with it stuck down, this is with it up. Oh, and I forgot my my stuff here. So I think on this card, what do I want to use? I think on this card I want to use the pink, just because I think it'll stand out better. And I want it there in the holes, because you know, peacocks have all colors of feathers. Now, here's the new one, here's the original. So